go to take it, and I put my back down, and then like he just manifests out of thin air, and and he's like, "Hey man, didn't you see my weights or anything right there?" And I was just like, "Hey, I apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. I didn't see, I thought somebody had deserted this station." But then I go to ask him, and I say, how many more sets do you have left? And he kind of got offended, when I asked him. I was like, you know what? Never mind. So I waited about 5 minutes, went to the station next to him, and every weight he was doing, I was doing it on purpose just to show him that his training was ineffective. I wasn't trying to be arrogant or anything, but I'm like, he weighed more than me. I'm stronger than him. It was just, and when he put up 315, I put up 315, and I didn't have a spot. He did. I just had to let him know that, like, man, look, it's not that what you're doing is wrong. You're in the right place. You just don't know how to train, right? Like, that's not how you build an amazing chest. So, no offense, just facts. Training matters. I'm interested in, so Illia, when they get you, what type of trainings do they go through?
Okay. Well, our training has been very successful and impactful because they are grounded on real business situation.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the CVMK Show, because it is what it is. It's the best podcast on the planet. You know why? I'm the best podcast host. Where else can you see this handsome mug anywhere? Yours truly at YouTube at CVMK. It is what it is _show. And CVMK Global, the best supplement. I'm talking about performance wellness company there is. We have an amazing guest, an amazing episode today. When you watch this, you're going to be like, how'd you get this person? We have none other than Illia Jakel, CEO of Sharpen Leadership. She's going to bring forth the knowledge, the nuggets, how she became a CEO, what does it mean, transformative leadership, and particularly leading in this new space of 2025. But before we go there, I want to first thank you. Guys, you have been amazing. We've grown because of you. I've heard your comments. I've heard your feedback. And this is why we do what we do. But I want you to do a couple things. If you want to keep seeing leaders like we have on today, you got to do a few things. You got to spread the word, right? And you got to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement keeps us going. And with that being said, when we return, we will have the one, the only Illia Jakel after this. Stay tuned. Illia, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Look, I'm super excited about having you on the show. Connected with your team. We were going through. I've sent over what the thumbnail is going to look like, the whole thing, just to get prepped for this. But, it's not every day when we have somebody on here that is, really in the forefront of leadership and really, I would say, helping the world evolve and turn and making the world a better place, but doing it in the way of entrepreneurship and business. They sent me your intro. I have to just read this for them that don't know, right? It said in 2017, she's become a catalyst for transformation, equips business professionals, corporations, entrepreneurs, and associations with the skills, tools, and insights to thrive in today's competitive business landscape through tailored training programs, transformational speeches. Sharpen Leadership specializes in emotional intelligence, leadership development, customer experience, strategies for customer success, training programs, and mentoring women globally. The one, the only Illia Jakel. So, Illia, before we get into it, I always start this very simple, right? You could have done anything in the world. You could have been a painter, right? You could have been anything. Why go down this path?
Well, Cody, I had the privilege for over 20 years to work for two very dynamic industry, and the pharmaceuticals and the healthcare. And that actually gave me a row front seat to really observe and experience, how leadership shapes career, drive performance, and also influence culture. And so when I saw firsthand, the stark difference between having great leaders and a toxic leader is a huge difference. And we are seeing that more of that in the workplace. Great leaders, they create an environment that is so healthy and conducive of collaboration and innovation, and they empower their teams to, thrive. On the other hand, toxic leaders, they really create an atmosphere of intimidation, fear, and doubt. And all of that, when I experienced firsthand that. Let me tell you a little bit about what made me turn around from being incorporated for over 20 years to decide to go and be a CEO of Sharpen Leadership and found Sharpen Leadership. There was a time in my career that my job was so exciting. I was excited to go there to contribute. I have a great team. But everything changed when a new boss came in the picture. And this person was a toxic leader. It was threatened by the potential that they saw in our team and in me. And immediately that person started to micromanage every aspect of our job. It started to really scrutinize decisions, and every move that you try to go forward is met with resistance. And really, all this experience, I learned something very fundamental, that leadership is not just about target goals or result. It's about the human side of business, how your decisions, actions, and behaviors affect your team. And that's when I decided, I'm passionate about leadership. And I decided in 2017 to start Sharpen Leadership to equip business professionals, leaders, and organizations about how important it is to have great leaders and a great culture.
I agree. I totally agree. Look, I have witnessed good and bad, right? I've witnessed, like you said, leaders, bosses, whatever, that have been, they're like a magnet. You want to be around them. You want to work harder. You want to stay later. You want to come earlier. And then I've been around others you just can't wait to leave. Like, how much PTO do I have? So, and it affects everything. It affects performance. It affects longevity, tenure, churn. All of the above really stems down to personality. Do you think we're heading in the right direction as far as having a more conducive workplace, a more praising workplace, or have we? Because some would say we've taken a step back as far as toxicity is concerned.
Well, it's actually hard to tell, but across the board, what I'm seeing and some of the people, I talk to hundreds of people across industries that they are experiencing toxic leadership. And hopefully now there is going to be more awareness that this is happening and it should not be tolerated. The culture needs to change, and that's come from top down. Leaders need to be able to own their role in change and role model respect and transparency and accountability. And so some industries and some organizations, they're lacking that, and they are tolerating these toxic leaders and the leadership. Yeah.
You mentioned that one of the ways, I guess, to correct it is through the development of emotional intelligence, right? So this EQ. I think that emotional intelligence is missing from all of society, not just the workplace. I think it's something that is inorganically bankrupt. And when people get into positions of authority, they bring the bankruptcy with them, and it just creates more and more indebtedness. Right. So this emotional intelligence, how do you go about kind of correcting it, I guess to say, why do you believe that this is so crucial for modern business leaders to be emotionally intelligent?
Okay. Let me tell you, first of all, the higher that you want to go in your career or the higher that you are, you're going to need to lean more on your emotional intelligence to be able to influence and get things done, not your authority. Okay. Secondly, because emotional intelligence is going to help you navigate, it's going to help business professionals and leaders and the organization to navigate today's challenges. And the challenges that they're seeing is the business is more complex, is fast-paced, is global. And not only that, there is more ambiguity. So they're going to need emotional intelligence to be able to help them navigate that. Emotional intelligence is key. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
In the workplace, how it shows. Okay, so let's say a leader, it has a very high critical project that they are doing. Okay, and this project is going to bring millions of dollars to the company. Okay, it can create a stress in the team, tensions, and also it can some conflict. An emotional intelligent leader will step in, but not to micromanage, to open the channels of communication so that the team can come and voice what are their concerns, what they need to do, how, all of that. And this leader maintain itself emotionally calm, right? Which that transfer to the team. And when that transfer to the team can step a little bit back and say, you know what? Now I can see the different perspective. Now we can maybe prioritize certain tasks or redistribute the work. So they understand the human part of business, and that's what makes these leaders great. And also allows, this is where emotional intelligence shines when it's navigating these challenges, because it allows the leader, the team, and the organization to adapt and have that agility that they need to move forward and to stay competitive, because today's business is competitive.
I believe it. I say this, influence is so underrated that we try to buy it.
Yep.
Because we undervalue it, or we think we have more social capital than what we do. And I think we confuse influence with affluence, right? And so we figure, well, if I get my Instagram followers up, I'll have more influence. Maybe, right? To a degree, but will it really persuade and lead others to certain decisions? And I think when you work in team settings, particularly, like, how people gravitate toward your task and prioritize it, how they handle it, is about a soft power, right? And a soft power that we don't want to use, because it makes one vulnerable to the other. It is a sincerity, and I think you can't have soft power without sincerity, right? And I think the absence of sincerity. Let's go here. Let's switch it before we cut to break. I know we got a break coming up. When we talk about the toxic leaders and we talk about the lack of emotional intelligence, companies won't make a decision until it ends up on the bottom line, right? Like, they'll keep getting toxic people as long as profitability is what it is, because it doesn't affect the margins. What is the breaking point? What does it take for a company before they say, oh, we are no longer profitable because we allowed this behavior to go on? What does it take for that company to wake up?
Well, what happened is, when you have a toxic leader that is creating this atmosphere of intimidation, fear, and doubt, it starts really have a detrimental effect on the team and the organization. On the team, because the team they don't have a voice with this kind of a toxic leader. So there is no trust. They disengage. What we are seeing right now is an increase on physical and mental health. So what happened, these people start, absentees go up, performance go down, collaboration go down, innovation go down. So when all of that happen, it's going to affect the bottom line of that organization, and it affect the team, because you see physical people start feeling anxiety, tension, mental health, depression, and there is a turnover in the workplace. And so sometimes this is what happens when you allow toxicity to take its course, right? And then that's when the organization starts seeing at the bottom line, and they are losing money. They are losing money. And that's when, and also they start seeing the effect that it has on teams that could be an amazing engine for ideas and innovations. They are stagnant.
That's true. I agree. I will cut it to a break. I want to go here, and when we come back, because I mean, this is getting on fire. I really want to talk about that team development aspect. There are some things that definitely stand out. You mentioned training, this kind of self-awareness, right? Like, how does that impact leadership? Like, how do people really see themselves? Like the man in the mirror. I wonder, because I really think people don't see themselves.
Yeah.
We'll return with the one, the only Illia Jakel. After this quick break, we'll be back.
There's a hero in all of us waiting to be unleashed. All it takes is just that one last push. Activate the hero within with CVMK Global Supplements. All natural, steroid free, designed to enhance performance, build muscle, and increase energy. You are unstoppable. You can do this. Become your own hero at www.cvmkglobal.store.
All right, y'all, I got with me the trusty daddy pre-workout superpower. I know you can see it in the screen. One of our many products, obviously, as the co-founder and CEO of CMk Global. I want you to go there, guys. Follow us on all social media, CMk Global. Definitely go to our website, www.cvmkglobal.store. You will not be disappointed when it comes to your performance wellness supplements. www.cvmkglobal.store. We are back with the one, the only Illia Jakel. I want to focus on this aspect. You know, self-awareness is a lost art. I really don't think people truly see themselves, or people have a very distorted image. I think people see themselves the way that social media allows them to see themselves. They see themselves through filters, through background theme music, through, you know, cuts and sequences and transitions, but they don't see the organic self, right? That human being that people come in contact with every day. And it affects everyone. It affects organizations. It affects teams. So when we talk about this leadership aspect, how can a leader truly see themselves and use that truth to better themselves?
And that's very important. You know, self-awareness is the core of great leadership, and also is the foundation for our leadership training, because transformation happens from within. You cannot lead others if you first don't know how to lead yourself, right?
True.
So it's not just, people think that self-awareness is about knowing your strengths, your weakness, your trigger points, your blind spot. But actually, self-awareness is more than that. It's by understanding, and we talk about that, how your actions, behaviors, and decisions affect others around you, your team, and how you are perceived by others. And think about this. How many times a manager, a leader, unintentionally, they confuse or disengage their team because they are not aware that their actions, decisions, and behaviors, how they are impacting the team and how that team is perceiving them. That happens a lot. And so self-awareness is what really clarified to us how to be intentional in the way we are showing our leadership, whether it's with our team, in a project, and with our clients, with everybody, right? So self-awareness, I will tell you, is the first step for great leadership. And that's why it is foundation for our training.
Do you think people value? Do you think people really want to change? Do you think like when you like, let's say, Illia, they're like, hey, we're hiring your firm. We want to improve the culture of our organization, and they bring you in and they pay you and they do all this stuff. But do you honestly think people want to see the light?
You're going to have some people that they don't. For them, they don't want to change. But the majority of people, they do. It's just that they are not aware. They're even being promoted up to a position without the leadership or the self-awareness, right? So they make all these mistakes and become toxic leaders. So organizations now, and this is very important, and I'm seeing more of these, they are investing in training, in emotional intelligence, in leadership, not just for their leaders, but also for the workforce.
Right.
Because they can see that when they both have it, those organizations, the profit is up, the employees are engaged, they innovate because they feel valued. And they feel they have a voice. And that's huge. That's huge for change. But change starts from the top down. The leaders in that organization needs to own their role in the change and need to role model those behaviors like respect, transparency, accountability, and build trust.
I believe it. When when I was going over your bio, you talked about your bio mentioned, embracing women and really taking them under your wing and, transforming and that. And I thought to myself, I said, there really is a lack of mentorship in business and in society as a whole. Like people say, like, I have a mentor, I think it's almost cliche, but like truly being up under somebody's wing is finding somebody that wants to, develop you, and not just develop you so that they can get the project done, but I mean, develop you so that they can see you go further, right? And faster. Right. There's a kind of a lost art. How do we get back into the business of true mentorship? I won't even use coaching. I think coaching is lazy. True mentorship, where I see the person, I connect with the person, and I dedicate myself to the person and their professional advancement.
Well, in the corporate world, the organization needs to start putting mentorship in place because it's not happening right now. Yeah. There are some organizations that they do have that mentoring going on, where senior leaders mentor their workforce, their staff, that they see they have great potential. But mentorship, like you said, not everybody do it, and it's huge. It will be huge in the life of these and their employees, the workforce, the team. Now, in the other hand, there is not that many people that are mentors, and that's why I started mentoring women globally. Okay. Yeah. So one way to do this is to at least once or twice a year, you get a group of women, and I like to kind of group them according to where they are in their career. Beginners with beginners and seniors with seniors. The reason for that is because sometimes they have challenges at work and they don't feel they have somebody that they can talk to about that, because they fear that they might see them as weak, or they might see them as they don't have the expertise, and they don't want to show that, right? So when they come to this mentoring, they have to sign a paper that everything stays in-house. And so they bring the challenges that they have. And these other professional women and leaders that have gone through that, we start talking about what they have worked for them and brainstorm together and mentor other people in there. So it's kind of innovative, Mm-hmm. And so everybody leave relief that they have a space where they can speak, they can experiment, they can learn, they can get some insight, they can get strategies and tools that when they go back, now they know how to deal with that situation that they have. And the same with the beginning, the ones that are beginning in their career is the same thing.
So this creation of safe places, like it was, real hot kind of thing about, 5 years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, like we got to create these opportunity paths, right? ERGs, employee resource groups and whatnot. Now it seems the geopolitical landscape has shifted and this is no longer as apropos. And I think that's a disservice. I really see the benefit in it. How can you, before we get into how your trainings kind of go about reshaping the workforce, how can you go about creating a message that doesn't seem like, oh man, will I get included? Like how do we create a message that companies can see it as this is a needed investment?
Okay. Well, they need to understand if they are not innovating enough, if they are not taking care of their employees, right? It's going to have a detrimental effect in their bottom line and in everything else. So when I say a safe place, it's because I said that, for example, let me give you the example of innovation.
Sure.
If you want to innovate and you're having problem with your team innovating or that organization innovating, it's because they need a room to breathe, a place that is a room to breathe where they can come with ideas and solutions, even unconventional ones, right? And they don't have to feel that they're going to be judged or put down because of the ideas they bring to the table. Okay? And the way you innovate, you need to open a place where they can experiment with ideas and brainstorm and learn from that and gain insight, because it's there where innovations and breakthrough happens. And that's what I call it, a safe space, because there is no retribution, there is no judgment about you brought an idea that is not good, okay? You have to bring all the ideas, because one of those ideas is going to be the breakthrough that your team, your department, or your organization needed. Did that kind of answer your question?
No, it does. It does. I do believe. And I do believe, like, when you don't, and I think you're hitting it on the head, like when you don't have this innovative kind of energy behind it, right? When you've broken down the bond of human engagement, and no longer do people speak at each other. Everything becomes A/B linear, input output. Nothing is meshing, right? You get this very plain sandwich. Right? I think that's the best way to say it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing for a toxic culture. To be turning it around, you need to have a place that people feel that they can voice their concern and that they have a voice without having to worry about the fear of retribution. So all of that is important to move forward.
No, absolutely. Look, we're going to cut to a break. When we return, I want to get into these trainings. Like, training is everything. It's just like working out. Your training method is essential for results. And I want to learn. I want the audience to learn. We'll come back with the one, the only Illia Jakel after this quick break from our sponsors.
I literally just tried the best pre-workout on the planet. With Superpower pre-workout, you have increased focus and a power boost every single time you work out. It's not only packed with 225 milligrams of caffeine, but it also has citrulline and creatine. It's insane how much energy and focus I had during my workouts. If you're ready to take your workouts to the next level, then ditch your current pre-workout and get the Superpower pre-workout to be your own hero.
Oh, you don't have Superpower? What's wrong with you? I got it in my hand right here. This is the pre-workout you need to get. Go to www.cvmkglobal.store. I'm telling you, cvmkglobal.store will not disappoint. But if you want to stay current with us, I'm talking about all the latest drops, deals, discounts, just go to CVMK Global. When you see the bear on social media, you're in the right place. www.cvmkglobal.store. All right. So, trainings. I'm in the gym. I think this is the best way to say it. I'm in the gym yesterday, feeling pumped. It was chest and back day. I'm feeling pumped. I'm like, yeah, man. And I go to the bench press. The guy's on it, taking forever, not doing anything. And he disappeared for like 10 minutes. So I didn't see any bags or, water bottles or anything. And I go to take it and I put my bag down and then he just manifests out of thin air. And and he's like, hey man, didn't you see my weights or anything right there? And I was just like, hey, I apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. I didn't see, I thought somebody had deserted this station. But then I go to ask him and I say, how many more sets do you have left? And he kind of got offended, when I asked him that. And I was like, you know what? Never mind. So I waited about 5 minutes, went to the station next to him, and every weight he was doing, I was doing it on purpose just to show him that his training was ineffective. I wasn't trying to be arrogant or anything, but I'm like, he weighed more than me. I'm stronger than him. It was just, and when he put up 315, I put up 315, and I didn't have a spot. He did. I just had to let him know that, man, look, it's not that what you're doing is wrong. You're in the right place. You just don't know how to train, right? That's not how you build an amazing chest. So, no offense, just facts. Training matters. I'm interested in, so Illia, when they get you, what type of trainings do they go through?
Okay. Well, our training has been very successful and impactful because they are grounded on real business situation, and we customize it to the organizations and their needs also. But what we do is we immerse our participant in scenarios, in simulations, in dynamics, in role play cases, okay? So what we are doing is a hands-on approach. We create experiences that hit home. And when I said experience that hit home is because it's going to mirror the challenges that those people are facing on their job, their role, and the organization. Okay. And again, we provide a space where they can come and bring all those challenges and situations, and we put them in there, right? So we give them a space where they're going to experiment in there. They're going to learn and they're going to grow. So when they finish with our training, they're already ready to apply what they learn. So we don't do theory. We just immerse it immediately. And that's the key. How many times have you gone to trainings or you have a lecture and you come out, and after you come out, you said, what tools do I have to implement anything? What did I actually learn? It sounds all good, but I don't have anything. And so when they come out, they actually have the tools. They are equipped with new skills, okay? We also develop the skills that they come with, okay? They're going to develop also new skills, but they're going to have tools and strategies. They have the insight that they said, okay, this is what was happening at work, and this is what I need to implement. So the transformation that they're going to bring is going to be sustainable, because that's what the organizations are looking for. Most of these organizations, they have their own training.
That's true.
But they have seen that it doesn't do an impact, or it's short-lived. And that's because it's not a sustainable transformation. To be sustainable, these people need to be able to have the tools, the insight, they develop those skills so that now they can apply it. And that's what we do at Sharpen Leadership,
I like it. I like you said, it's not ethereal. One of the biggest just waste of time is going through the training modules, going the conferences, and it's like, oh gosh, I've heard this 1,000 times. You put on your smiley face and you're going through the team building, quote unquote, exercise, and you're like, no. you know, because it's not practical, because we never address the elephant in the room. It's the elephant.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So,
they don't have to bring anything when they come to our training. We provide everything, and we let them know you're gonna be part of it. You're gonna be you're gonna be immersed of it, and you'll be ready to contribute, because everybody has to contribute. So they don't bring anything. They're just doing all the time and learning.
That's true. That's true. Mm-hmm. So, you know, as you mentioned, so they don't have to bring anything. They're not responsible for, you know, handbooks, pencils, or any of that. They have to bring themselves in a willing mind state to connect and to go forward in this process.
Absolutely.
When you're going through the process with them, when they're in these trainings, what is that aha moment? Like what is that obvious, because, you know, like I'm just trying to imagine in my mind, I don't, you know, foresee somebody, you know, saying, oh man, I'm a toxic boss. I mean, I hope, you know, but yeah. You know, but like, what is that? Like, what makes them click and say, yeah, I need to change?
Well, most of them is when they are in simulations, right? With situations that, let's say, some conflict that they have in their team, okay? Yep. And where they go through the simulation, they have to breathe the A game in there. And usually you're unaware and you don't know, you're gonna just do what you usually do at work, right? And everything is recorded and it stays there. And then after that is replayed so that they can see. And then that's when they said, wow. Mm-hmm. You know, that's not the way to handle that situation. There are better ways. And they learn. I mean, they learn because they get insight in there. They watch also videos on how those situations can be improved and should have been handled.
No, that's definitely fair. It's definitely fair. I know we got one more break, but I want to go here, particularly when we come back. We talk about, you know, the future workforce of tomorrow, right? Like I see, I've been thinking about this. I said, I think the economy is going to do a high-low at the same time. And what I mean by that, it's going to skyrocket in some aspects that's almost excessive. But in other aspects, it's going to bottom out. And it's going to create this high-low, not like a real recession and not like a real economic boom, just a real gap definer. And I've been trying to think about, how does that play out in real time, right? Like, how does that look going forward? So, you know, I really feel that the sweet spot, I mean, obviously if you have a global business, it's gonna, you know, whatever. But I said the sweet spot for businesses is about 200 employees. I said 50 to 200, I think you can maintain a certain culture and implement change very rapidly. I think after that number, it becomes a little excessive. So we want to talk about, when we get back, dealing with the future workforce, because it's different. It's different now, and it's not remote, because a lot of people have come back to the office. So that's not what makes it different. But we're going to talk about that difference maker. We'll return after a quick break from our sponsor. Unfortunately, every day is not a day of spring. Life is filled with toxic temptations designed to entice you, to destroy you, to manipulate you, to poison you, to harm you, to cancel you, and to make you sick. And at CVMK, we've designed supplements so that you can fight back You can be who you were destined to be. You can unleash the hero within with our signature supplement line. Go to www.cvmkglobal.store. Y'all, www.cvmkglobal.store. I'm telling y'all, I have to show it again because maybe you missed it. Super Power Pre-Workout. Go to www.cvmk, as in Vernon, MK global.store. All right, so kind of this shifting, right? Business is evolving. The landscape as a whole is evolving. Technology is constantly evolving. The way we communicate, the way we engage, all of that is going to a different level of existence, I guess is the best way to say it. How as things become more empirical, sometimes we lose the human touch. How do we make sure that we're keeping human beings? Because that, from everything that you mentioned, from emotional intelligence to mentoring to toxic work place and culture, everything is about the human being, right? It's about the human touch. How do we keep humanity at the center of all business?
It's like I said, to have humanity and to understanding the human side of business, which is the most important. It's not, you cannot accomplish any results, any targets or anything if you do not put first your employees, right? And the human side of business, right? To do that, you have to invest. Organizations are understanding that if they don't invest in their people, they are not going to make it. Because to invest in the people means innovation, collaboration, and performance. And you have to have the agility. And to have the agility to be able to navigate today's modern business, you have to have high talented performers. Okay? And to bring talent into our organization, you have to invest in them. And that's why for me and for Sharpen Leadership, when we say we train, we want to train at all levels in our organization. Because if you just train the top level, what happened with the rest? You need a combination of both. Every single level in the organization, they can be leaders even informally, even if they don't have the rank or the title. Okay. And when you have a workforce like that, that is high talented, that it has the skills, they bring their best performance to the table and they give you the agility as an organization to be able to handle the complexity and ambiguity. Because what we're seeing is unprecedented times in business. There is a lot of ambiguity. The market can go one way or the other. And so we need a workforce and we need leaders that are able to have that agility to be able to navigate with confidence, that we have the resilience, that see, instead of seeing failures, they think they can reframe things into opportunities for learn to adapt and move forward. And so you're going to have that mind. It's a mindset. You need to have that mindset. I will call it an entrepreneur mindset. You can be incorporated, but you can still have an entrepreneur mindset. Okay, that you're not a paycheck person, that you go beyond your job description. And that's the type of workforce they're going to need if the organizations are going to stay competitive. And also that's the kind of a skill, I will say agility is a golden skill that is valued in all organizations if you have it, because it will allow you to thrive where others can't, because you see opportunities where others see obstacles and challenges. And to be able to innovate and stay competent, you need that kind of workforce. And as an individual, if you want to go higher in the career ladder, you're going to be able to thrive in change. So embracing change. Did that kind of answer your question?
No, it did. It did. No, that was amazing. I think it's the key takeaway I would say is two things. Industries, organizations need to invest into their talent. And the talent needs to see themselves as owners of the business and have that mindset. And I think when both things happen, greatness happens.
Absolutely, because one thing that we are seeing more is that there has been an evolve in the leader's role. Instead of being, when we talk about influence, it's about being facilitators, where they guys support the team, but then they give the autonomy to the team to take ownership of their work and of the process. And when they do that, these people are engaged, they are motivated, and they bring the best to the table. So leaders are not anymore about, giving command and expect compliance. Leaders have evolved into facilitators. It's a balancing act.
No, so true. Well said. Well said. And this has been amazing. Look, I've learned a lot. I don't know about you, but I've learned a lot. Illia Jakel, I want to thank you for being on here, CEO of Sharpen Leadership. Where can they connect with you? They say, hey, look, I want to bring your training. I want to bring your team, your company into our organization and really transform us and get rid of this toxic culture. Where can they connect with you?
They can find me in LinkedIn at Illia Jakel. They can also go to my website, sharpenleadership.com. And in my LinkedIn, they also have my email address with illiajakel@comcast.net.
Y'all connect with her. Go to LinkedIn, go to Illia Jakel, hit her up, connect with her, go to sharpenleadership.com. Get her, bring her into your fold, into your business. Remove the toxicity, invest into your employees, invest to your organization, and you will reap dividends. If you want to keep seeing leaders like we have on today, you know what you got to do. Subscribe to our YouTube page, YouTube at CVMK. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there. Just listen to us, y'all. Go to the social media, CVMK Global. That's for the sports, the wellness performance line. But for the podcast itself, it is what it is _show. And that's how you keep this thing going. But this has been amazing. I want to thank my guest, Illia Jakel. She is absolutely amazing and absolute just leader that is transforming the business world and leaders that we need today. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.